Last year I did a 2024 wrap up, but there's so many shows this year. I don't think I can do that unless anyone wants a 5-hour video review. So I figured let us just go through some shows I did not finish this year. These are shows I already decided I'm not going to finish and would not be coming back to. Before we go there, hi, my name is Nemogasa. I do reviews and commentaries about BL shows. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video if you haven't. I would really appreciate it. Okay, so in no particular order, first up, Caged again. I fucking tried, okay? I'm a fan of quirky, out of the box shows. You don't know how obsessed I am with Last Meal Universe when no one else likes it and everyone thinks I'm insane. Cage again has a really cute, stupid premise about a penguin transforming to a human and living his gay life and finding his gay love with a fucking panther human hybrid. But those CGI penguins are scary. I, for the life of me, cannot finish a couple of episodes of this show. I did my best, okay? I'm only human. I already have a hard time sleeping as it is. I don't need gay CGI penguins haunting me in my nightmares. Next is my sweetheart Jom. I think everyone's excited for Saint to return to BL. Not that he actually left, he's still involved one way or another in the BL industry, but you know what I mean. Even though The Sign is not personally my favorite and it's not really a show I will rewatch, The Sign is objectively a good show. So I have expectations coming into my sweetheart Jom, and I don't think any of them are met. First, there's no chemistry between Saint and Poom at all. Poom has more chemistry with Ploy, who plays Ern. I absolutely love Yo and Ern's cat and mouse dynamic. They're super cute together. They're adorable. Their chemistry works. And if they had been the end game, I probably would have finished the series. Second, there's so much subplot going on, and none of them are interesting. It's such a mess. You have the pseudo political, pseudo action storyline between Jom and his rivals in power, and then they get cut off with high school drama. Not to mention that guy who was after Yo and Jom's ex boyfriend. So much happening, yet somehow nothing is happening at all. I stopped at like episode 8. I was so bored. Moving on. The Boy Next World. Another interesting premise, time travel or parallel world asked with a switcheroo. The moment I figured out the plot around episode 7 or 8, there's really nothing interesting in the show anymore. It starts intriguing enough with Seer introducing himself to Pooh as his boyfriend from the future or another world, Seer trying to integrate himself in Pooh's life and seeming to have different set of memories, which by the way is super creepy once you have the full version of the story. I was hoping honestly for a more sci-fi fantasy or at least psychological twist, but I guess that was asking too much. The thing is the mystery premise can only go so far, especially if you figure it out already, and I don't really care enough for the second couple or for Sears' family drama other than the fact that his brother is played by Mick, who is as always so pretty. That's just an unfortunate thing about mystery driven shows is that once the mystery is not a mystery anymore, the story needs strong character development to carry the rest of the show until the finale. The parallel world mechanics stop being exciting and the characters are just really bland and there's not enough journey worth following anymore. But the show is very pretty. I feel like this show is just created to showcase Boss's perfect bone structure. Next, My Golden Blood. People are going to hurt me for saying this, but I don't see any chemistry between Joss and Gawin. Maybe I'm blind, but I don't see what people are hyped about. And just for the record, I love Gawin in Not Me partnered with First and his show with Chris Be My Favorite is an all-time favorite of mine. So it's not like I don't like Gawin. I just think he's miscasted for this role. I feel like it needs another actor that can give the character a little bit of subtlety, His whole performance just feels very one note. But the chemistry issue aside, my main issue with Golden Blood is the same issue I have with Revamp, which is why are we insisting on making vampire BL shows lighthearted? My internet mom made a review about this. I will link it down below. I feel like vampires are inherently dark creatures and the genre demands that atmosphere. I need some moral ambiguity in my vampire love story. I need some immortal tortured soul with predatory instinct and soul crushing loneliness and some supernatural tragedy. These themes don't thrive in a campy, cute narrative. One of the reasons shows like the originals work so well is because they fully embrace darkness, power struggles, ancient feuds, ethical dilemmas, and the consequences of immortality. The drama means something because the tone supports it. Campy VL tends to strip vampires of all their predatory complexity and turn them into immortal sweet boyfriends with fangs. I'm not saying that camp cannot be complex, but dark fantasy is such a great backdrop for characters with complex morality and layered characters. The whole point of vampire romances is the tension, which is diluted when you make the show lighthearted and comedic. And this is not just with GMMTV vampire shows. A lot of these vampire BL shows feel like Halloween costumes, cosplay, it's all aesthetic with no substance. They made it feel like vampire is synonymous with rich, powerful boyfriend. Just do a mafia show at that point. A man in a suit brooding in a penthouse, pulling strings in the shadows and protecting his lover from danger. That's a mafia trope, isn't it? Because that's what happens when you remove darkness from vampires. They stop being supernatural creatures and start being immortal CEOs with dietary restrictions. And it makes everything so narratively shallow as well. But enough about vampires. Let's move on to the last one. Let's move on to royalties. This one, I don't know what to tell you. I was just bored. I just couldn't get into it. The next sprints lost me somewhere around episode 3 or 4, and trust me, I tried. I really did. Mind you, I watched the documentary that they released before the start of the series a few times. I watched every behind the scenes and interviews. I even watched the red carpet premiere a couple of times. So the world building, the production process, and the behind the scenes of the show are so fascinating that the show itself pales in comparison. I'm so sorry to say, the making is more interesting than the show itself. I was so convinced this would be the royal BL to end all BLs. The storytelling of the show just never reached the hype built around it. It genuinely pains me to say this, but the making of content was more compelling, more dynamic, and more emotionally engaging than the actual series. That's how you know something went wrong. When the behind the scenes has stronger narrative momentum than the story itself. You've accidentally created a very expensive bonus feature instead of a functioning show. And from what I heard, the writing does not get any better. It's an amazingly beautiful show, visually, which is sad because it got a lot of great things going for it. The next Prince is stunning. Genuinely one of the most beautiful BL productions ever made. The sets, the costuming, the cinematography, the color grading, every frame feels like someone spent 3 days adjusting the lighting just to achieve the perfect glowy princely aesthetic. It hurts even more because the world as presented in the behind the scenes content felt alive. You could feel the passion of the crew and the excitement of the cast, the ambition of the production, but in the final product, all that promise somehow got lost in translation. At the end of the day, you can have the most gorgeous, majestic palace, but if there's nothing inside it, it's just an empty building. Well, there you have it. The five Thai BL shows I did not have the energy or the emotion to finish. Tell me what you're watching right now and what do you think is the best show this year? My number one last year was See Your Love from Taiwan. And this year I'm tied between Ball Boy Tactics and Kamjura. Totally different type of shows. But that's enough from me. It's the start of the holiday season, people. Drink your water, stay hydrated. Bye bye.